7-year-old who the mother had brought in for a ear piercing. 7-year-old lost her mind, was distraught and scared, and didn't want to get her ears pierced. Luckily, the mother actually didn't go through with the ear piercing for the 7-year-old. Didn't do it, luckily. But what happened was the worker went back, told her manager, and said, you know, I couldn't have done this. Even if mother had forced me to do it, I'm not going to do that to a kid. And the manager said, no, you have to do it. That's our policy. We go to find out later that that is not Claire's policy, the store Claire's. And they've actually given workers permission to, if something like that happens, to then not actually go through with the ear piercing, interesting enough. So, I bring this up because you got to remember something. When it comes to safety of your kids and everything else, those are of the utmost importance. Just the absolute utmost importance is safety. But you also have to remember that kids are their own people. It's their body. Kids shouldn't be forced to do something that scares them, like piercing their ears. Even though a parent can give permission for something like that, they shouldn't be forced to do that. So keep things like that in mind. Don't force your children to do things that they're uncomfortable with. It's just like we've talked about forcing your kids to hug other people, to kiss other, whatever it might be. Don't do those things. Don't do those things. Make sure your child is comfortable. That should be of the utmost importance to you. And this one's an important one that I want to share with you. If you're a parent out there and you weren't aware of this, Target, that's right, Target is doing a car seat trade-in. A child car seat trade-in. Starting April 22nd through May 4th, you can bring in your old child car seat, and when you trade it in, they will give you a 20% off coupon to use on baby products. That's right, 20% off. So if you've got a car seat sitting in your garage, in your house, or whatever, an old one that you can't use anymore, take it to Target. They're going to recycle it, and they're going to give you 20% off on baby and kid products, which is fantastic. And one thing I want to bring up on that, keep in mind if you're a parent and you're not aware of this, which should be, car seats expire. Car seats expire. Man, this live feed is just like all over the place, and now I'm not even getting the comments on there. Weird. I don't even know what's happening now. Switch over to the live feed. Chris and Bridget. I started live feed. Take advantage of that with Target, because if you've got a car seat, you know you could use that 20% off. You're spending $5,000 at Target. Hey, Chris, I don't know what's going on with the freaking live feeds. But we are back for now. I'm going to have to splice all that together. That's going to be extra work for me. Fun times. Alright, moving on to some mental health. Mental health. I don't have a lot this week. I try to bring you guys things because I love to reduce that stigma and share personal stories with you and everything else. I don't have much of that for you this week. I think we needed a little break from it. But something did come up this week that I think is very important to talk about in the mental health realm. The mental health realm. Sounds like the place that you go to like get recharged. I don't know. And that is an announcement with Apple TV Plus. Apple TV Plus has announced that they are going to have a show coming out featuring Prince Harry. That's right, that Prince Harry. Prince Harry and Oprah. Hi, Lindsay. Oh my gosh. Everybody's back on the live feed now. I don't know what's happening with the live feed, but we're back. We're back. Prince Harry and Oprah are coming out with a show on mental illness, mental health, mental illness, mental fitness, all those good things. And I've talked about Prince Harry. In fact, recently we talked about Prince Harry and how he talked about social media and how that can be detrimental to your mental health, and especially if you have a mental illness. So you might say, well, Sean, this is great. They're going to have a show about mental health, and it is going to be a docuseries. Here's the thing, also, it seems great on the surface. Education, reducing that stigma, support for people that could use the support, right? But here's the other thing. It's going to be on Apple TV Plus. Apple TV Plus. Apple's going to charge you a subscription fee to even have access to this. That's right. You're not going to be able to watch it over the air. You're not going to be able to watch it on YouTube. I mean, someone's probably going to steal the clips and throw them on YouTube. No, you have to have this Apple TV Plus subscription so that you can watch it. And how much money is Apple going to be making off of this show? Off of people's stories of mental illness and struggles with mental health. How much money are they making? It's not going to be nothing. It's not zero. And how much money is Prince Harry going to make? How much money is Oprah going to make? Two of the wealthiest people in the world, right? I mean, they are. They are definitely two of the wealthiest people in the world. There's wealthier, but they are quite wealthy. So as much as I can get behind the idea of doing this, call me when you're not putting it behind a paywall, and call me when the profits actually go to support a mental illness group, such as NAMI, National Alliance for Mental Illness. Then I will get behind you. Until then, it's just a cash grab. That's all it is. It's a cash grab. Absolutely. Oh, man. All right, we got some sports. Sports. Man. A lot happening in the sports world right now. And I'm going to talk about none of what's happening in the sports world right now. I'm actually not. I'm going to talk about these other things that are probably not at the top of the sports ticker that comes across your screen or whatever, however you get your sports information. One of those would be a lawsuit against the Houston Astros. That is the baseball team there in Houston. They just won a World Series a couple years ago. Yeah, 2017 they won. You know, it's a very successful team. There's a woman who brought a lawsuit out against them because she was injured by a t-shirt cannon. And you might say, you might kind of laugh, like, it was like injured by a t-shirt cannon. But we've actually run into this before. There was another ballpark where this happened with a hot dog and someone was injured. And in fact, if you do a little digging on this, the woman was actually hit in the hand, fractured her finger, and she's had to have multiple surgeries to repair the finger. And she's only suing them for $1 million. Houston Astros can afford to pay that $1 million lawsuit. Houston Astros, go ahead and settle, and maybe put away the t-shirt cannon. Like, can we get away from the t-shirt cannon? We have seen enough that shooting things at a high speed at crowds of people, it's not the best idea. It's not the best idea. So let's retire the t-shirt cannons, for God's sake. Throw some t-shirts. It's a baseball game. You already got to watch for baseballs come flying at you when there's actual game happening. Why, like, we shouldn't be between innings and people are getting struck by a freaking t-shirt cannon, having their fingers fractured, and multiple surgeries. Like, come on. We're all better than this. Like, this is where common sense should absolutely prevail. But it won't. They're going to continue with these stupid t-shirt cannons. And here's where we just take an abrupt right turn, like, because of where I was talking about that one. Here's another injury, although this one's a little bit different. This one is a little bit different. You might have seen this because it was floating around social media, and I'll be honest with all of you, I haven't actually seen the clip because I saw the clip floating around, and I'm a bit squeamish when it comes to things, like when it comes to injuries and stuff. Like, I don't need to see like someone break a leg and the bones stick out. It's just that's not interesting to me. I never need to see that. So there was a gymnast for Auburn, the university down there in Alabama. She was competing and actually landed weird and I don't know if she broke both her knees, whatever it was, but basically injured both of her legs. On this landing. Even if you're not super familiar with gymnastics, you've seen a little bit. She was doing probably flips or whatever and landed both of her knees. And the clip was, of course, floating around social media, because that's what we do. We share everything on social media, and it's going to just go viral, and it's all over the place, and everyone's got to see it. You know, like I said, I've seen it in my feeds. I just didn't actually watch the clip because I already know. I'm like, hey, I'm going to have nightmares tonight. I'm good. But I bring this up because the gymnast, Samantha Serio, says she doesn't want to be reminded of the graphic injuries she suffered during this gymnastics competition, which I get. But she took to social media to implore everyone to just completely stop sharing the clip, stop tagging her in it. Now, tagging her in it's one thing, but just completely stop sharing the clip. Doesn't want the clip anywhere on social media because she doesn't want to be reminded of it. And I understand. But the thing is, you're a collegiate gymnast. And she probably has other clips. Yeah, see, I'm with you, Laura. Like I said, I'm not watching it. She probably has other clips of her doing well that she doesn't mind people seeing. And while I get it, you don't want to watch it. Here's the two things about that. Like I said, collegiate gymnast. So welcome to spectator sports. It's unfortunate. It's absolutely unfortunate, but welcome to spectator sports. And then on top of that, if you're seeing it on social media, just put down the social media for a little while. It's amazing what benefit you can get, mental benefit, even physical benefit, from just putting down the social media for a little while. Don't look at Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. Just put it down for a little while. If you don't like what you're seeing, put it down for a little while. That's what I do. And that's great advice for anybody. Not just a gymnast, for anybody. And this is gruesome, and I'm not saying it's funny, but I'll tell you, that's just like I said, part of spectator sports. I was in high school, and my mother used to videotape my track meets. Not the entire track meet, but she would videotape me. And a lot of it was so I could go back and look how my form was. And she would videotape other teammates. And there was an instance, I believe I was either a freshman or a sophomore. And I'm not going to say his name. I know his name. I still know him to this day. Was running the hurdles. And my mother's recording, and she knew it was my teammate. She's recording him. And like halfway through the race, hits a hurdle with his foot, and like face plants. Like, and not even face plants, but like flips forward. Now he was okay. There weren't any serious injuries. So I'm not saying this is apples to apples with the gymnast. But I will tell you, myself and a couple of my friends, not him, although I told him about it. He was a close friend. So it's not like I was like, we weren't laughing at it behind his back. We definitely did some rewinding on that tape. Rewinding and laughing. So it's part of what you've gotten into. It is. It's part of what you've gotten into. We're doing well on time here. You know what it is? It's because we had the technical difficulties with the live feed. And so I had we were like 15 minutes into episode 93, and I went and scrapped it. I was like, we're just starting over. I'm doing it all over. And then so I condensed that 15 minutes into like 5 when I went back and redid it. This is what happens. This is why the podcasts are not really edited. The live feeds, they're not edited. I don't like editing myself. I'm not an actor. It's me yelling at a wall, telling things to this wall, and talking to whoever's on a live feed and getting feedback from our on-air producers, Chris and Bridget. So there's no editing. So just scrapped it, started over, because a lot of people do enjoy the live feed. Although then we ran into more problems and I had to completely restart the live feed. So that's going to be a lot of fun to deal with later tonight and tomorrow. But the good thing is, the positive side of that is, we're not short on time like usual. Usually I have to scream through a lot of this tech because we're always short on time because I got a big mouth and I spend 20 minutes talking about social plugs in the opening. And another 5 to 10 minutes on whatever beer is happening this week, which is Angel City Brewery IPA. Check them out. All right, tech. SanDisk, if you're familiar with SanDisk, I think they do other things, but they mainly make SD cards. That's all I ever see them on. We got an SD card sitting in the GoPro right now that's taking still photos. If you're interested, Bridget, please mark that one down. Interested. Sometimes we come up with funny words here. And the funny thing is that they're not funny Friday morning when I look at them all the time. Sometimes they are. Like, we don't need rails. That was gold. Sometimes I look at it the next morning, I'm like, what was I even talking about? Interested might be one. But if you're interested in a high-capacity micro SD, SanDisk has come out with a 1 terabyte micro SD card, and you can now pre-order them for $450. $450. If you're not familiar with a terabyte, that's 1,000 gigs. It's 1,000 of them. Like, your phone's probably, depending on what kind of phone you've got like 32, 64 gig. Maybe your computer's got a terabyte these days, So for $450, you can put a terabyte of information on a micro SD card. So tiny. For $450, I don't see a real a need for this, but some people are going to do it. Speaking of spending too much money on stuff, wait until we get to the last thing in tech. It might make your head explode. My head kind of exploded a little earlier. All right, but moving along. iTunes. We're getting rumors that iTunes is going to be officially killed. Just killed, put out of its misery. A lot of people don't like iTunes. I'm the exception. I still use iTunes. I actually purchase all my digital music through iTunes because it's basically, that's where I started. It's the best kind of overall music management. I, of course, send everything over to Google Play, which is how I access it on my phone. But iTunes is the best, especially if you have lesser-known artists and stuff that aren't part of a big database as far as iTunes Music or Apple Music or Google Play Music, like all that good stuff. So I still enjoy it, but they're going to be killing it at some point here, looking at individual apps. New individual apps coming out. So instead of having everything on iTunes, there's going to be like an Apple Music app, an Apple Movies app, an Apple Podcast app. For the love of God, the Apple Podcast app. But I better not have to go and deal with the Apple stuff to get the RSS feed on there again. Apple is the biggest pain in the butt, and I get it. They're protecting their intellectual property, but geez, it's Everyone, like, it's funny with the podcast. I just see it pop up. Like, I'll get a text from a buddy. It's like, "Hey, did you know that your podcast is on Stitcher Radio or whatever?" And I'm like, "No, but now I do. Thank you." But with iTunes, they make you like run an obstacle course with flaming hoops, and then kiss the ring of what's Tim Cook, and then maybe you get your podcast on there. So I'm hoping I'm not gonna have to redo all that. All right, Tinder. We got Tinder users out there. I'm sure we do. I feel like there's in the Venn diagram of wall fans and common sensors in Tinder. It's not like overlapping crazy, but there's definitely some overlap. I get it. I'm sure there is. Tinder has officially toppled Netflix as the top grossing non-game app. It was Netflix for the longest time, the app that was top grossing. Now it is Tinder, which is interesting. I didn't even know there were pay portions of Tinder. I've never used Tinder. I'm too old to have used Tinder. I'm sure if Tinder was around in my 20s, I might have tried it out. But I never, actually never did any online dating. Just never, fortunately for me, never had the need to do so. And that's first quarter in 2019. So Tinder, apparently people are using it. I get it. I feel like anybody who's single is like using Tinder. In fact, I was watching a show the other day, and it was like three married women sitting around, and one of the married women like turned to the other one. She's like, "Are you on Tinder?" And the woman's like, "I'm just browsing." I was like, "Oh, it's kind of funny," like, which I think can be interesting. It's like when chat roulette was a thing, and there were people on there looking for like porn, person to person porn, but there were also people that were just like, "I gotta see this car crash," Oh, I might get on Tinder just to see that car crash, which is funny. And I'm happy to be heterosexual, but I'd probably look at the guys because I feel like the dudes on Tinder would be more entertaining than checking out the women on Tinder if you're looking at it for entertainment purposes. So that's probably what I do. All right, Amazon. Oh boy, sneaky Amazon. We recently found out, and this is according to CNN and a couple of other news outlets picked this up. Amazon employees, they actually employ an entire like team of Amazon employees to listen in on your Alexa conversations. That's right. This has been uncovered. We're going to hear more and more about this. So if that's a surprise to you, then like, all right, just remember, I've said this before. Eventually we're going to have to bow down to the robot overlords. And as far as Alexa and Google Home and any of those, and Apple has their like HomePod, the takeaway here, don't plan crimes with your Alexa. I always joke about this because people are like, "Oh, your microphone's listening." It's like, what are they listening to me do? Like order pizza from my couch? I mean, it's kind of embarrassing that I haven't left the couch in 3 hours, but like, what? Yes, I'm binge watching this terrible comedy sitcom. What? Like that? So don't plan crimes with your Alexa. It's probably the best way to go. Oh man, this one got me. LinkedIn. LinkedIn just announced that they have added, and they're on there now. I haven't gone on LinkedIn. They have added, like, reactions. That's the word I'm looking for. Additional reactions as opposed to just like. You go on LinkedIn. If you've ever been on LinkedIn, you can click like. I like this. You got a new job. I like it. Well, they've expanded that now. They've expanded it. Oh, my. Now, not only can you like, but you can do a celebrate, which is like hands clapping. You can also do a love. Of course, they had to have the love thing. You can do insightful, which is like a little light bulb. And you can do curious, which is a guy like doing this. And I get it. They're trying to get more engagement on LinkedIn. And I'm sure some people will engage more because of this. But there's also, I can't be the only one. There's got to be people that are going to run the other direction on this. Because I can't do all of the extra little junk that there is. When Facebook added it, like I was like, you've got to be kidding me. It's like I just got used to liking people's stuff. Now I have to decide if it's funny or sad or angry and then you run into a thing on social platforms where it's like, let's say someone says something funny about a terrible thing that the Orange Menace did. And then it's like, well, do I laugh because they said something funny, or am I angry because he's a completely useless dipshit? Am I sad because we live in this time? I don't know. And if I like it, am I saying I like the Orange? I don't know. Let's go back to just likes. Because it was like, oh, I read this and I enjoyed it. Likes. That's what kills me with iPhones, too. I'm going to make a confession to all of you right now. You know how on iPhone messengers and stuff, or whatever app it is, if you have an iPhone, you can like a text from somebody, or love or laugh, or there's another one that shows up extra weird, and my buddy Doug likes to, I'll send him like, hey, what's going on? And he will click like whatever it is. Maybe it's like curious, like this LinkedIn thing, and it shows up weird. So for those of you that have iPhones and don't know a lot of people that don't have iPhones, basically what happens when you like a text from someone else, it sends them a text that says liked, and then it quotes their entire text, that entire text that they had sent, liked or whatever it might be. And I'll tell you, for a few, I'm not even kidding, because we don't use iPhones in my house. Like, my wife and I don't have iPhones. I have friends that have iPhones. Laura's on there, she's got an iPhone. Chris, I don't know, do you have an iPhone? I don't know if Chris, I don't know what Chris and Bridget have. I don't think they have iPhones. But I have friends that have it. But I kid you not, for a couple months, I saw that, and I thought it was like a new trend, where people were typing out liked, and then in quotes, my text. I'm not even kidding. I'm not even kidding. I'll be honest. I'm confessing that. And it was like after a couple months, I was like, oh, that's just part of like the texting app on your iPhone. Now I get it. Oh, I've actually had this note on my whiteboard for a little while. Hey, Jeff, are you back in America yet? I think you are, right? Everyone on the live feed, nice little round of applause for my cousin Jeff. You are iPhoners, but see, you guys don't like the stuff that I send you. Big round of applause for my cousin Jeff, who just recently got married. And we will be having a nice you're having another wedding. Oh, and Lindsay is it? Lindsay. Okay, you're all iPhone users. Not in my house. I'm just kidding. I don't care if you use iPhones. My in-laws are in town. They're iPhone users. It's just, I only say that because like I had no idea. You know, if I had like someone in my house that had an iPhone, I might have been like, oh, that's why. No, a couple months, and the funny thing is I didn't think much of it. I was like, oh, clearly this is just some trend that I'm not aware of and I couldn't get behind because I'm too lazy to type all of that back. But now you can do it on LinkedIn. Knock yourselves out. I go on LinkedIn to like look at job stuff, and I get, you know, connection requests, and I'm like, oh yeah, Chris, did you not? Yeah. Congrats to Jeff. Please, round of applause on the live feed for him. Everybody, Jeff, newly married Jeff, my cousin, my older cousin. All right, one more in the tech world here. This is what I alluded to when I talked about the $450 micro SD card, and if you're pre-ordering one of those, you're probably going to pre-order one of these too. We finally got some confirmation on the Samsung Galaxy Fold. We knew it was coming out. Now we know when. Well, I'm sorry. We don't know exactly when it is coming out, but we know that as of tomorrow, tripping over my words, there's a brewery in Florida called Saltwater Brewery, actually, in Florida. See, that's a thing. Like, let's agree. It's either brewing or brewery. Although now I've got brewery on this can right in front of me. So Saltwater Brewery. I don't know why I'm complaining. They have actually developed 6-pack holders that are made of sea turtle food. Not even kidding. 6-pack holders that are made of sea turtle food. And if you look at a picture of it, it looks like cardboard, but it's actually sea turtle food. I'm sure there could be some cardboard. I don't know what sea turtles can eat and stuff. But if you've been alive before like a couple years ago, where you're just not aware of it, you know that the plastic 6-pack things, not good for sea life. So now they have found a solution. Saltwater Brewery in Florida. I'm sure we're going to see more and more of this. I'm sure, especially coastal microbrews are going to do this. I imagine all of the Hawaii breweries are going to want to do that as well. So keep an eye out for that. Good on you, Saltwater Brewery in Florida. Let's not kill sea turtles. It's just fantastic. Not only not killing them, but feeding them. Good job. Good on you. All right, there was a man in Oregon who called the police about a burglar in his house. The police showed up and did not find a burglar. They did, however, find a Roomba in one of the other rooms that had spooked the Oregon man and thought that it was a burglar as opposed to his robotic vacuum cleaner. Yeah, that happened. I get it. You hear noises, and I kind of get it. But it's like, also consider that you have a robotic vacuum cleaner, you know? Ugh. All right, there's an online petition going around through change.org or one of those, trying to get McDonald's to, and this has happened before, but it's kind of a renewed call to get McDonald's to offer a Meatless Burger. If you're familiar with Carl's Jr., they have a and I know there's Beyond and Impossible, so I can't remember which one is which, but Carl's Jr. now has a meatless burger, and Burger King just recently launched a meatless burger, among some of the others like Fat Burger and those have had them. I believe Del Taco has a meatless burger now. So I kind of get this, but part of me is just like, okay, but it's McDonald's, and you can go buy a Beyond Burger or an Impossible Burger at the store. Like, just cook it yourself. Cook it yourself. I know. We're going to bow down to the robot overlords, Chris, and it's going to start with the Roombas that are coming to invade our houses. That's why I don't have a Roomba. I'm keeping the robot overlords at arm's length. My wife loves to get all these smart products in the house. We have smart light plugs now. I'm like, and earlier today, my wife was at our office, and I'm like, I don't even know how to turn on this freaking light now. I had to text her and be like, can you turn on the light through your phone? Which is funny. There was a time where I was like the technologically advanced one in that. No, I can't do it anymore. But like I was saying, get your own burger patty and just make your own. Like I get both sides of it. I get that you want there to be a meatless option at McDonald's, but is it worth doing a petition and everything? Like, just get the meatless option elsewhere. And if you're like, whoa, we want the McDonald's, it's not going to taste like a McDonald's burger. Like, it's not a burger. It's not being made at their facility. And a McDonald's burger doesn't taste that good to begin with. Come on, people. And if you're like, well, I want the fries, so pick up some damn fries. Like, go to McDonald's, drive-thru, pick up the fries, go home and make your burger, call it a day. I don't know. This just seems very frivolous to me. I understand the demand, but why? Like, petitions? Calm down. All right, one more thing I want to leave you with. Oh, I'm looking at my time here because I don't have enough time to rant on this as much as I want to. Video came out recently. An Instagram model named Jessie Taylor. Apparently, somehow, her Instagram account, and this is that ridiculous thing, Instagram model. I still don't understand what the fuck an Instagram model is. I don't understand. Is it just someone that takes pictures and puts them on Instagram? Because my daughter's an Instagram model. I'm sure there's, like, clearly, I'm sure there's some minutia to it. Maybe they're getting paid somehow. They're making a living off of it. I get that to an extent. But when it's this ridiculous, so we have this Instagram model, like I said, Jessie Taylor. She lost her Instagram account, and she went on this rant, this crying rant, posted it online, about how she can't work a real job. She can't. In fact, she talks about how much of an asshole she is, and she doesn't get along with people, and therefore can't work a real job. Here's the thing. I don't even know who the hell this was, like, until I saw this article, and I've seen the photos, and I just don't get it. So you can become an Instagram model and make money off Instagram just by showing your tits. Like, that's what I'm looking at here. She's wearing, like, crop tops and showing her boobs off and everything else. And it's like, that's fine if you want to do that. But don't come out and be like, oh, I'm an Instagram model and this is ruining my entire life. You can't rely on that for your entire livelihood. You can't. And then get that upset and say, well, I can't work a real job. Well, you know what? How about you learn how the real world works? Maybe go work a real job for a little while. Instead of just taking pictures of yourself and putting it on Instagram, which is stupid. And that's why I say I don't understand what an Instagram model is. Because real models, runway models, and print models and stuff, they are working their asses off. They're working their asses off. If you talk to a fashion model, runway model, a publication model, they work their asses off. They're going to shoots. They're on a runway. They're getting changed in the back like multiple times. They're working their asses off. Yes, we end up just seeing a picture of that person, but there's a lot that goes into that, as opposed to just having a phone and being like, here's my duck face, look at my boobs. Give me a fucking break. I can't anymore with this. I'm so sick of the entitlement, especially when, you haven't done anything notable. You haven't done anything notable. And I'm sorry, I don't like to say this about people, but Jessie Taylor, you're not even very attractive. I'm only saying this because clearly you have a big head and you think that you deserve to have all this. You're not very attractive. You're not. Just get over yourself. Get over yourself. Ugh. Man, I think I'm done. I think I'm done. Between the technical difficulties and everything else, which now I'm gonna have to deal with the rest of the night. I'll be up all night dealing with splicing that together and figuring out why the hell I don't have freaking internet power here. But I will figure it out by next week. I'm gonna figure out what's causing this for next week. But that is gonna do it for episode 93 of Go Tell It to the Wall podcast. Remember, Wall fans, common sensors, follow us on Twitter at TellTheWallPod and at Magic Muppet. Also on Facebook, facebook.com/Go Tell It to the Wall. And of course, YouTube, head on over there, search Go Tell Us the Wall, subscribe to our page, and most importantly would be SeanO'RourkeLive.com, which will take you to all of those things I just mentioned. Bookmark it, check back often. Like on it. Always use common sense. All right, Wall fans, common sensors. Chris, thank you for being on there. Bridget as well. I think Bridget had to drop off, but please tell her thank you. I'll talk to her soon. I will work on these technical difficulties. I don't know what's happening. I feel like a year and a half ago or so, we ran into a bunch of issues and kind of got them resolved, but now we're running into them again. So I'm going to work on that next week. This definitely came up right before it was time to come to the studio. I wish I'd realized, because I was able to get through the entire day of working on everything else, doing some editing, even some posting and stuff. No problems, and then of course it pops up like as soon as I go in to do the actual live feed. I'm pretty sure it's a technical issue on my side with the internet and having some problems there, but at the same time it could also be Facebook. You never know what's going on with Facebook. They could be throwing in more features, and then that's what's bogging everything down. So apologies to everyone. Oh, so thank you, Bridget. You're watching too. Apologies to everyone that did jump on the live feed. Thank you for jumping on. We had quite a few people kind of jumping on and off, and we ended up with like 2 different live feeds that I'm going to have to splice together. So again, apologies for that. We will have it better together next week for episode 94. And remember, I didn't even mention it on the actual podcast. We're getting closer and closer to episode 100. Chris and Bridget. That's going to be a party, so look forward to that as well. That's going to do it for us. We'll see you next week. Same wall place, same wall time. And remember, Wall fans, common sensors, social media world. If you've got complaints, you can go tell them to a wall.